Hey yo, this is Tremayne from Straight Vodka Entertainment, and right now you're tuned in to GFG TV. Believe that.
All right, first off, we want to say thank you for sitting down with us here at GFG TV. We appreciate your time.
Of course.
So, man, tell us where you from, man. What's your name? How did you get into the game? You know what I'm saying? What game are you in? All of that.
All right, well, name is Tremayne, for those who don't know. I run Straight Vodka Entertainment. That's beats, rhymes, R&B, hip-hop, whatever. I'm from Marshalltown, Iowa. I was born in Paducah, Kentucky. We moved to Marshalltown when I was like 3 or 4. Grew up there, but now I just lived here. I've always worked with Des Moines, Iowa artists. So, what do I do? I mean, right now I'm a producer strictly, but I mean I used to rap. I had an album dropped in 2000, at the end of 2003. Put that out. I used to work with Team Liquid. I dropped a couple cuts with them. I mean, I don't even think I put that on the discography, but and then I just produce a lot of local, like Marshalltown artists. Got to produce for some Des Moines artists, Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids, stuff like that. So yeah, I was doing the rap thing for the longest time, and then I just got a little bit older. I kind of wanted to just transition into doing beats. I always did both. So, but beats to me is different, man, because I can just wake up. I feel like I can do that. I can, like, on autopilot easier than I can with writing, because you got to really think about what you're doing when you're writing, you know. Well, in my personal opinion, you do, but so I fell in love more with the beat side of it. So after a while, I felt like I was more rapping, because when I first started, you know, my beats weren't that good, but I wanted people to get on my beats, but no one would, so I just kind of started writing my own raps, my own beats. But that also helped me balance out and see what sounds good to rap over and what might just sound good is just an instrumental. So it did help in that order. But then I took rhyming super serious. I wasn't just doing the most simplest. I was like spending hours writing at 16. So, but after a while, this kind of took its toll, because I was trying to do both at like the highest level. Like, I can't just scribble something down and turn it in as a rap. Like, to me, I write different anyway, because I write, like, I have my first line up here, then I have like my last line. I know my last line's already gonna be, and then I have the middle. Like, it's a whole thing. So, and I can't, just trying to keep up that consistency. And I wasn't writing like some of these guys are writing now, where they can do same thing I was doing, but they could do it in a fucking fraction of the time. So, and I couldn't keep up with that output, trying to do features and stuff. So I was like, let me just do beats. I ain't holding these projects up for people. So.
So how old are you when you think the music bug first bit you?
I already remember. I was in 6th grade. I was interested. I met this dude, Jameson Maddox, and he was talking about rap and stuff. This white kid from Marshalltown. So I'm like, whatever, you know. And then, like, he was telling me he had like Techniques 1200s and all this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then, like, he's like, yeah, you should come over and see my stuff. So I went over there. Man, he had two Techniques, turntables. I don't remember the mixer. Had the mixer. He had at the time, he had this Tascam 8-track recorder. Like, nobody, them shits were like $3,000 or $4,000 when it was out. And it was like a cassette recorder, but I mean, he could record. He had 8 different tracks on there. It was like probably the biggest thing for the like independent, you know, what we could afford back then.
Yes, sir.
Which we, like, back then I couldn't even afford it. I had to like work and save money to get that. But so I don't know, started messing with him. Was kind of watching him do his stuff. So then I kind of got into it. Off of that, started kind of. I was kind of always writing stuff, but that kind of made me more serious. Like, oh, he's got like a full studio. So then I kind of was doing that, and then he had like a drum machine too. So he was making beats off of that, and then I was kind of relying on him for beats, but he wasn't like crazy into producing. He just kind of had the stuff. So after a while, he loaned me some equipment. He stole me a mixer from Radio Shack. It's way
Radio
past.
Shack used to be the shit,
It's
didn't
way
it,
past the
dog?
statute of limitations. I can talk about this. He stole. We always joke about it anyway. Like a realistic Radio Shack mixer, and then he gave me a SK1 sampler. Like y'all like that are old that remember this. They used to have a commercial where the dude was sitting there with his dog, and the dog would bark, and then he played shit on the keys. But it was like it wasn't at the time. It was one of like the first like consumer grade samplers. I think it did like 7 seconds of sampling. So I had that, and then I bought it was a phrase sampler. I think it was for guitarists to kind of like learn riffs or something like that. It wasn't made for hip hop, but I just thought I could use it because it was like under 200, and that's all I could afford at the time. So I got that with the SK and had a double cassette, and so like I would play like the drum beat on the phrase sampler in one cassette. Then I flip that over, go back, play, put that in deck one, and deck two I would record like a bass line or whatever with the SK1, and then have the drums playing. And I just had to keep doing that. Like by the time you get it done, I mean, there's so much hiss because you flip that tape over some, you know what I mean? Because you're just going swapping the tape. So that was how I first started making beats. And the loop, I didn't have like a perfect loop, so them shits was off, but I just did. That's how I learned kind of sequencing, and then later I think about ninth grade, I gotta save money. I bought this DR5 drum machine, and that, like, to me, that changed the game because it had one track was all drums, percussion, whatever, and then they had 3 tracks with instruments.
Yeah.
So that's like where I really like learned the sequence. I'm like, oh, okay. So at this time, I didn't really use the samplers or anything unless I was doing a lot of the hooks I did at the time was like vocal samples from other rappers and shit. So I just did that, but it wasn't anything heavy. But then I learned that I had that thing for like all through high school, and then a couple years after I graduated, I got the MPC 2000 XL, which I still use. That's what I still use today, except for now they have software that you can integrate with it. So I just use the software version pretty much, and the MPC 2000 is more or less a controller since I just keep all the files and stuff on the computer because it's just faster and easier. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that was my kind of production journey as far as like equipment and where I started from and where I am now. So.
Can you remember like the first person that you started to build with that equipment and started to work with?
Yeah, that would have been. I mean, Jameson. He would come over, give me like critique and stuff. For those that don't know, Jameson is Aquaman from Team Liquid. So he ended up, so he would come over, give me, and then my boy Corey, he's no longer with us, but he would come over and was trying to like ghostwrite stuff for him at the time because he was too lazy to write. He was talented though. He would kind of freestyle a little bit, and then that was it. And then like my cousin would come play, but he was whack, so I wasn't gonna. He thought he wanted to be a rapper. You know that thing where everybody sees the equipment and they think they want to be a rapper until you put them in there.
Because that's the thing to do.
Yeah, it's like I'd have to write and then re-record and make you like, nah, I ain't doing all that. So and that lasted like a couple months for him anyway. Then when I got a little older though, like that was all through high school. And when I was out of high school, I ran into my guy. Marcos was a boy of mine. Who's a b-boy. He used to mess with a lot of people around here, but he always was big with the rappers. A lot of the rappers around here. He introduced me to the guys that were the committee at the time. I don't know if you remember them, but like I remember I dropped a 16 with a track. It was like it had like 18 motherfuckers. Was that
Mike G's group?
Who?
Mike G.
Was he the DJ? Was he a
Mike Graves?
I might have been. There was like 40 of them dudes, man.
Okay.
I was in some house and there was probably like 18 dudes on this track. I remember I know Ed Randall was in the group. Cause, you know Ed Randall? He, cause he my boy Marcos used to like hang out with them. But he's the one who brought me to the group, and like Don Juan, I remembered him, and like Automatic. So, but I remember there was, like I said, there was like, it felt like there's probably only like 7 people on it, but it felt like there was like 18 people on this track. So I just went in there and wrote my little part, dropped it, left, and then I think I was either at Run DMC or Rakim at it was like Super Toad or whatever it was. And then Don Juan came over and was like, I still play that verse. Remember me from blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. And then we would always made plans to do something, but never did anything with them. So, I ain't got no problems with them dudes. I think he went to Iowa City or wherever they moved. And then, but through them, my boy Marcos, who introduced me to all of them, his little brother, Cuban, rapped. Everybody's always telling me, yeah, you know Cuban? He was like, I know his brother. I'm dope, me and Marcos pretty much go everywhere together, but I just haven't, he was a little younger, so people kept saying, you need to work with him or whatever, so I like kind of listened to him. He was rough, but I mean, he was there, but I was like, yeah, let me mess with this kid, so I like brought him in, like kind of help him structure he used to come in, be recording on the mic, had like 8 pages he's flipped. I could hear the pages turning while he's recording. I was like, man, let me like kind of show you how to write, like structure what you're saying, not write it for you, but like help you structure it. So
for sure.
He came a long way. If you've seen what he did then to what he is now, and I mean, I give him credit because he's the one who worked hard and like took in the criticism and made the adjustments. So it ain't like I did it for him or anything like that. So I never take credit for another man's come up. So, but yeah, I did a bunch of stuff with him. There's a couple bands in Marshalltown we did stuff with, but never really to the extent where I wanted to actually produce the band, but I never really got a chance to do that. But that's still on my agenda to do.
What would you say are some of your highlights as a rapper? Like some big shows you've done or opened up for or something like that? Memorable moments, anything you could think of as your time as a rapper?
The Little Flip one's gonna always stand out because that was the first one I opened for.
That's nice. Where was that at?
That was a Valair. Shout out to Horizon who hooked that up. That one's gonna stand out. I did like 3 with Bone.
Nice.
And then 1 with Just Busy Bone. That one stands out to me just because of Busy's performance, but just because he went up. This was like when he was sober.
Yeah.
And then he went up there. He did like two songs and like 2 freestyles, and like during one of his verses, he just passed out, and his security dude just caught him, and they took him off stage. Oh. It's like, man, I don't know if he's like California sober or something. I don't know. But that's why that one stands out. And then, man, I could just go through. Let's see. I opened for Sibo and Yuckmouth.
What?
Which I'm big fans of theirs.
Talk about that a little bit.
That one. Well, just to rewind, that weekend we knew we were open for Sibo and Yuck on Sunday. But
my bad, I keep interrupting. And you say we, who's we?
That was gonna be me, NTT, Creeplo, and my guy Young Player Lavish. And we were all we were opening up, we were all kind of solo artists, but kind of worked together a little bit. Creep got his own album, and him and Lavish kind of worked together, but we all intermingled. But so we knew Sunday we was going up there. We went up there like Saturday to get prepared, but Sunday was in Waterloo, and then Sunday, we knew we had Bone Yuck. But like Saturday we had to go to the radio station, so we go to the radio station. We meet Bo there. Yuck wasn't there. Bo was tired as hell. He was just like, he didn't really look at us.
Right.
I was like, well, whatever, that's Bo, And so we went to the radio station. They're like, y'all want to tell us what we're looking for? And Lavish at the time had this song called 45 Mag, where he's just doing the double, almost triple time. This nigga just, because he goes so fast. So he did that on the radio, and then motherfuckers kept calling. I was like, what are they doing? Where are they doing? Where are they going? Well, then we found out that Saturday, Do or Die were there with Johnny P. So
All in Waterloo?
Mm-hmm. They was performing that night at a little club, and so we ended up getting on that show just from being on the radio because people kept like calling in like, wait, what are y'all doing and all this? So we got to open there Saturday night, and then Sunday night we had Bo and Yuck. And like that was just kind of fell out of my life. That's why those are memorable. I mean, I opened for Afro Man. It was cool. One thing that's memorable about that is we was leaving and he was watching. He was like, "Hey, y'all was dope and stuff." Because a lot of times, you open, you don't even see them dudes.
For sure.
But I opened for Snow, The Product. I'm leaving a big list. Lloyd Banks.
Nice.
Valair. And the funny story about that is they didn't have no mic, so they were actually using my wireless mic.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of I had to like
during the performance?
Yeah, I had some like cheap $40
And Lloyd Banks was using it?
eBay. Yep.
Oh no.
The whole show was using it.
Oh no.
Yeah, everybody that performed used it. So we had that one. Tech.
Very nice.
I think Twice Tech. Which that one? Those are cool shows. Tech's always cool. And treats he treats the other artists like cool. But a lot of those guys I didn't get to meet. I did do a show. I didn't do the show. I went with Horizon. He asked me if I wanted to get on the stage, but I was like, nah, I'm not performing. I just want to watch you do your thing or whatever. But it was for Goody Mob at Seven Flags. I don't know if any of you remember that one where he came in with the car. He came in, drove in, like entered with the car and everything. But we were back there with Mr. DJ from Outkast, and we was like asking them questions. He was asking them questions and shit. He was really cool. But when them other dudes came in from Goody, they was like, nah, everybody got to get out. So, but like I said, most of the time they don't let you talk to them. But like Snow, we couldn't even. They straight up said, nobody's talking to Snow. So we're like, all right, shit.
Nice. So moving from being a rapper into producing, you have a long list. Could you think of who the first person that you put out a full album with?
First person I put a full album with is CP, which is recently.
Now CP.
And that's CP's got from Team Liquid, formerly Mr. C, but now CP. And me and him been working together for, man, I don't know, probably since like 2008, heavy, 2008 or 9. But
What makes that bond so dope?
I think it's because we already knew each other. Because I used to go over, like, when they were making the Team Liquid album, like, I was over there, like, funny story is me and Ian had the same digital, it's called a Roland VS80, we had the same machine, and he just got his, so he knew I knew how to use mine, so I remember first time I met Corey, they were recording a song called Worldwide, which is on their album, and Ian was like, man, you know how to copy and shit? I'm like, yeah. He's like, go over there and copy that shit. So I'm like over there, like, fake engineering the record or whatever, but that's like my first. So through that, I'd always go back through there, and just Ian would be up there making beats, and people would fall through. It was usually me and Aquaman, Jameson, and then Corey would come through when he could. But so I knew him through all that, and then years would go by. It was like I said, that was in like the early 2000s, like 2000, 2001, and years would go by. Well, actually, I started in '99. But years ago by, like I said, it'd be like 2008 or something, me and NTT were recording, and I'm over here writing this singing hook. I'm like, we need to do like a real singer on this. I was like, I should see if Corey's down. Because we'd always made it a point to like get on something. He was supposed to be on my first album. I could just never get him, so I ended up wrote this part out and had this other dude sing it. But so when I had him, when we made this song, I was like, we need a real singer, so let me just call Corey. I was like, he probably ain't gonna pick up or nothing, but he actually picked up, and I was like, yeah, shit, I'll come over. Like, I don't have my kids tonight or something, and he just came over, dropped it. I had it repeating. He chopped off the second half and wrote his own shit for the second half, and I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, well, shit. And then I think he added a bridge to it.
Of course he did.
And then that song was called Beat the System. And the funny thing with this one, I was teaching NTT how to make beats, And so he made the beat, hard ass beat. He was just like, where's this? Like I was just showing him like where the stuff was, like what sound do you want? I'd find him the sound, and then he would make it. Made a dope ass beat, and then I wrote the hook while he was kind of making the beat. The only thing I did was played some chords and a little piano thing over the top, but he did everything else. And then so he recorded on that. Of course, we never released it because like he never wrote to it, I never wrote to it. I wanted that to be his solo because I wanted him to come out with a solo, but he was just, NTT was just, let me just write a new one. Let me write it. That one's old to me now. I did it 2 days ago. So he just wanted always new. So, but after that, I called him again because we had another one. This song was called Photograph. We did end up recording that. We just never released it. And I wrote the hook on this one. So it's like, let's have Corey come over. He did that. And then he added a bridge. We didn't have a bridge, but he wanted it. So I was like, oh, I'll just add a bridge part then. So did that. And then after that, we just kind of seems like a few weeks we were calling him, hey, you want to do another one? You know how that goes with him.
Yes,
like,
sir.
Because you just know how smooth it runs. And then we got like super close.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of and then I was like, well, you got anything because I knew he was kind of still working on music. And so he was bringing me like beats that some guys gave him. And I was like, well, I'll just record you over here since you did that for me. And so I'd start recording him on those parts. And then I started he was listening to beats when we were writing and stuff. And so I just started giving him beats to write to on his own. And then we just, from there, we've been locked in.
So, man, you got a long discography. You've been working with a whole bunch of people, man. We're going to tackle this list, man. What can you tell us about NTT?
Me and NTT, it's my brother, man. We worked closely together. He emailed me one day when he knew I was doing a show in Knoxville, and he's from Knoxville. So he was like, hey, can I get on this show? I was like, I'll talk to you when I get there, man, see what we got for time. Then he was up there with his little disc, like, let me get on. I was like, come on, to talk to the fellas. They was like, yeah, just let him on. We ain't nobody here right now, really, anyway. Right. I was like, all right, well, let's let a couple people come in, let him have a little bit of crowd. So then he went on. He was pretty cool. I ain't like the song, but I like what he was rapping. And so I was like, all right, he's raw though. We could we could do something with him.
Yeah.
And then my boy Plex took him under his wing a little bit. My guy PM took him under his wing and started working with him a little. And then he kept emails like, when are we gonna work? I was like, well, just come down. So then he came down and we did a song, and I was like, man, this kid's like just natural the way he does this. Like he can kind of do anything over any beat I've ever like heard him. He sounds good over. So we just kind of same thing with CP. We just kept rolling. I was like, he's good. He can fit on anything I got, and he likes my beats because I had like my own little style of beats, and a lot of these dudes in LA wanted something that sounded like whatever was happening. Like if it was Lil Jon, like they was wanting that. Like I ain't really got that for beats. I'm just kind of trying to make my own sound and stuff. But you know how it is when you're starting, and it's not to the MC's fault because they're only trying to make what they've heard, and they probably ain't really heard my type of beats in their head. So I never got mad at them. But NTT liked what I was doing, so I would just make my natural beats, and he gravitated towards them. So that's always one of my favorite people to work with.
What can you tell us about Vince the Prince?
Vince, I met through Horizon and CP. When I met him, it was him and Joey J, another talented motherfucker right there.
He's a singer, right?
Yep.
Yep, I remember him.
Yep. He needs to come out of retirement or whatever he's doing. But I met those two. They were doing shows together. They had a little CD out, I remember. And just kept bumping into him. And then he called CP over to Vasey's one day because they needed a hook. So I went over with them and watched them lay this hook. And then those guys just started, like everybody else who meets CP, they just kind of started working together, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so from there, and then me and Vince kind of started working together. We got a couple bangers on I got 4 on one of his albums and I think 2 on another album. And then me and him did one together where I'm actually rapping on it with him called Old to New. I'm thinking about releasing that one. I just want to make sure it's cool with Vince to release it. So, but yeah, he's another talented dude. If, like, at any time he just said, hey, I need a beat. What do you want? What style you want? You know what I mean? I'll give him whatever he needs.
So you mentioned Horizon, and you Vince the Prince. You worked those guys. You worked with them together, and CP. Another group I'm kind of seeing here, sitting to my left, Big Gray West and T Bear, and you talk about working with those guys.
Yeah, worked with Matt Ray because there was a Kansas City Nights song. He asked CP to do a hook. CP like pitched me for the production, so that was natural. I played like as soon as he said that, I went through like 4 or 5 beats, and crazy though, that is the first beat I played that I played him. And I was like, yeah, let's have that one, and then I had a bunch of other ones, and then Ray came over and listened. That was the first beat we played him, and then we went through some other ones, and we got to like a 3rd or 4th beat, and he's like, just go back to the first one. So then he laid that hook there, or wrote that hook there, and then Ray wrote his verse there. And it was probably, at the most, the whole thing was probably like 45 minutes sitting there, and it probably took you maybe half hour to write your verse, and same time for him to do the hook. So, and then after that, I met Bear through him. I met Bear a long time ago through Horizon, but we never really. We talked about like connecting, but it just never happened. And then I remembered him, and I was like, oh, hey, he works with Bear. So I was like, let me get back up with him because he's super talented. So he came over. We just invited him over to like eat and listen to some music and stuff. And him and CP came up with like 4 songs just playing beats in the air. I'm like, yeah, y'all definitely doing that one. Y'all definitely doing that one. So I'm like, yeah, these are taken. I'm like, I want y'all to do those. So then I ended up, we have a song called "Kick It With You," which is CP, Bear, and Frank Mink Loke, and then a couple others we did over here. I don't even remember them. I don't think I have the sessions, but we did them over here. I vaguely remember the beats we used, but I do because CP keeps reminding me. So I got a few with them, and then I'm pitching this one called "Devil in the Mirror" to them. They're supposed to do it, but I haven't heard back from that yet. So a lot of stuff we got is unreleased too. So it's another thing. I have a lot more unreleased than released, but it's about to be flooded. So.
What can you tell us about working with Angle and Tino?
Angle. I did a whole album for him. It's called AKA Little Different. He's got like a Punisher mask on the cover.
I got it.
And you got that one. Yeah, he I'll be honest, I don't like the beats on that album at all, but he picked them. He was like, I want like to step outside my comfort zone, and these were like they're almost like crunk Lil Jon type beats, but it just, I don't know. It was when I was kind of transitioning, because before that I didn't make a lot of trap. I made more like West Coast or East Coast, just kind of straight up. I was kind of against trap or whatever. So then I kind of started making trap, and those are like my first trap beats. So that's why I was like, nah. But he did his thing on it. Angle's one of those guys where he can take a beat I don't like, and when he puts whatever he puts over it, now I like the song. And to me, that's like perfection, because a lot of times as producers we make beats where we're like, and that's usually the one the MC picks. But like if they do something extraordinary with it, man, that's like magic, because it's like you made me like a beat that I didn't even like. Yeah. So that's what he's done that a few times, Angle. And I rapped on his other albums, a couple of his other albums. I didn't do no production on them though. And then Tino, I did one called Block Boys. It was like a little John sounding kind of beat. He got that. And I didn't even know he had it. Nate played it for me because he recorded over NTT. So I was like, I always hated that beat too, but I hated it because it sounded like a Lil Jon beat. So yeah. I was like, wasn't trying to do that, but when I heard him on, I was like, damn, that shit's fire. So he did that one, and he came over when I was living kind of downtown. he came over and dropped like 16 bars and said, do whatever you want with it. But I need to get back with him because he's one of those dudes that like my weird beats. You know what I mean?
Shout out
And
to Tino.
he said that he's like, I like more of the weird beats. So I'd love for him to just come over, grab whatever he wanted. He can have it. So
Shout out to
yeah, definitely legend, local legend for real.
So let's talk about working with Fleet of Genius and Bobby Waylow.
Met them for the first time over here actually. I got 2 tracks, the same 2 tracks for both of them. Over here we did one, which I need to do a video on this because the way we found it, before they got here, me, Ray, and CP were going through beats, and I have like almost 600 beats where it's just the loop like played one time, just so I remember, like when I'm going through folders, so I remember what it sounds like.
Yep.
And I was kind of just showing Ray that, and I played this one. He's like, "Oh, let's use that." And I'm like, "Well, we all we got is this. It just plays one time. Like it's not looped or anything." He's like, "Well, can you loop it?" I was like, "Yeah." So we looped that up. It became a song called "Come Through." It's got those 2 on it and a couple other people.
I think it's me.
I know who's on it. I was just waiting because I know you're going down the list.
My man.
Shut up. Okay, so what can you tell us about working with Trey Nitty Gritty and Smooth G?
Trey, man, I worked on through you. So I actually never met Trey, but I want to meet Trey because he's dope. Hopefully we can get some solo stuff in the works too.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, he was cold. I was actually happy that he got on the track. So it's always a blessing if an MC gets on your track. So as a producer,
Yeah.
I don't care what any producer says. Like that's like the ultimate compliment. Like I fuck with this enough to at least rap on it or try to rap on it. Smooth, he was in the session with Bobby and Flea. Yeah, I've been a big fan of Smooth since like the Trespass days.
Hell yeah.
So I was always telling like James, like y'all need to like Liquid needs to work with Trespass and all this, but
That would have been crazy. That never happened.
I know they talked about it though, but yeah, I always wanted that to happen. So I was always a fan of his anyway. So then when we did the Kansas City night, we were in CP's basement. We were playing some other beats, and we played Ray some other beats, and he liked this one beat. I was like, "Hey, have this one," but I would love to hear Smooth G on. He said done. And then like a couple days ago, he was like, or like when he got home, he's like, "Hey, Smooth's gonna jump on it." And then I think a couple days later, we got a Smooth verse on that. That's still one of my favorite tracks in my catalog right now. Like I can't wait for the world to hear that one, just because it just sounds hungry, because it's like we just kind of started working together.
Yeah.
My first time working with Smooth G, and then I got to work with him again when Bobby and Flea and them came over. He was over with Ray and CP. So I got 2 more songs out of him, and then we are working on one called King Shit. CP and Smooth G, and this is gonna be the motherfucking song. You know, when y'all hear it, you'll know.
There we go. Can you tell us about working with B3E?
It's my boy, man. He's from Marshalltown. He used to come to my shows. Always tell me he rapped and stuff. I'm like, all right, man. Everybody raps, you know, whatever. But he was consistent. He was a nice kid. So I was like, man, he's from Storm Lake. I was like, let me hear this dude, man. So like I heard him. He started sending me his music. I was like, man, this little dude's tight. Like he actually like writes. He's a real writer. And I was like, all right. Because I mean, to clarify, there's a lot of people that could just freestyle or just, they were playing with it. But you can tell when somebody's like our actual structured writer.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, he was writing. So I started messing with him, produced some songs with him. I got a song with him, me, and Test One that ain't nobody heard. But I always like, let me hear that. But yeah, I was messing with him for while he was rapping, and he started messing with Chinos. What were they called? They were like the Thiz Latin.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't think of the name of his label though, but So I know he had a deal with them, but I don't know whatever happened to it. And he put out a lot of his own stuff. And I kind of fell back and just took a management style because I wanted him to get like those Latin beats and all that stuff. I was like, I don't really do a lot of that. So like use your connects, get what you want. I'll get you shows or whatever. So we was just kind of working in that capacity at the end. But I still got a couple songs with him on it. And then there's a lot of stuff he rapped on that are in his computer or in one of his boys' computers. I could never get the files from any of them. So I was hoping at best I can use AI and like split his vocals out, but the stuff that's over my beats. But I don't know.
Tell us about your relationship with Test One and Cuban Loco.
Test One I met through Angle, I believe. I met him a few times through Angle, and then I'd always see him downtown when he was working, when he was security. I'd always just like chop it up with him, and then we'd start talking. He swung by when I was living like downtown. He swung by and dropped on the track I was talking about with B. Cause he was like, "Who could you hear in that?" I'm like, "Oh man, Test One's voice on this."
Yeah.
Just gave him a call, man, and he just came through. It's like, it's all right, cool. So we did that one, and then we always have just kept in touch. And then when this Kansas City Nights kind of brought us back together, we were outside of X's studio just chopping it up, and Tess was like, "Well, we should just do a little EP too." I was like, "Bet."
Hell yeah.
And I said, "Hey, you do half the production, I'll do half." And he's like, "Whatever, however you want to do it." But like so far, we got I think 3 or 4, and right now they're all my beats. But I don't know if I have to do all 6. I'm cool because I'm trying not to rap on anything. So
you mentioned Kansas City Nights a few times.
Yeah.
Who's on Kansas City Nights?
Kansas City Nights. That is Big Ray West. That is CP. That is Test One. And that is featuring, I don't know, I can't think of this nigga's name right now.
Casey.
Casey Young Boss.
That's pretty big.
It is really big. I
Casey Young Boss.
Man, edit that shit out because I don't even mess that nigga's name up.
So, okay, let's do it again. So you're talking Kansas City Nights, man. Who's all on the record Kansas City Nights? What's that about? You mentioned that a few times.
Yeah, that's the one that brought me and Ray working together. But that is Big Ray West featuring Casey Young Boss, who is a big deal. Test One, and then CP on the hook. So that was a good. It was good to get to do something with Casey Young Boss, and that was the first time I really was aware of him. Cause I didn't know how big he was, and then But once I did, I was going through his catalog. I'm like, man, this dude, I want to do like more stuff with him because he's super talented. And I don't know who does his beats or if he does his own beats, but man, his beats are crazy.
Hell yeah.
Nice. You talk about your time working with Ron Gotti.
DJ Ron.
Yeah, Ron Gotti. I always give Horizon and Ron Gotti are the kind of my bridge to Des Moines anyway, because I started working with I was looking for venues to perform at, and I called it was Jazzy Willie's at the time, and his mother Miss Vicky on that. So I was talking to her. She's like, "Hey, you need to give my son Ronald's, like he DJs and his friend Rob." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I think Gotti actually reached out to me, and we just start chopping it up, and then he introduced me to Horizon. We start chopping it up, and so I did I can't remember the name of the song. I know I remember it on his MySpace. I just remember the name of it. But I produced a song for him back then. Me and Gotti used to do hella shows together. Like whenever I was at a show, he was probably on the same show. So shout out to him.
Shout out to Gotti, man.
How about your time working with Gadima and Trip Shelton?
Gadima, I worked with on Angle's album. And Gadima's one of those dudes I've been knowing for like a long time. He's another one of those guys when I came into Des Moines, I was doing shows. I was talking to him like online a lot, and then we would see each other at shows all the time. We never really worked together like production wise, but I did one called Defenders of the Throne or something like that on Angle's album. It's him, me, and Angle rapping on it over my beat. But I always, I sent him. I kind of credit him for me tightening up my production because I sent him like a folder of beats, and I told him this too. So I sent him a folder of beats, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll find something." And he said, "Well, I like some of the beats, but he's like a lot of them I can't rap over them, but a lot of these I would just listen, like I would just drive around listening to these." So I was like, "Man, I need to make like more space on my beats for these guys to rap because they had a lot going on in them." So like from that, I took it and I condensed it. I made another folder, and he's like, "Yeah, these are a lot better." And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of took in what you said about not being able to rap over them." So like ever since that, I kind of changed, kind of simplified shit, try to make a pocket for everything.
Yeah.
Which is like, I kind of feel like it might be one of the last skills that some producers learn because it's easy to keep layering and layering and layering. You never think it's done, but the thing that's actually missing is the vocalist. So that's why you keep layering it because you're thinking, well, it's just missing something. But it's like, yeah, it's the voice. And once that's on there, you don't need all this other shit. So, and then who did you say? Trip Shelton. I met Trip a long, like probably 2000 or like early 2001s or 2 Deep. I don't even remember it. And then I had like a show with Kadima. And then well, I knew who he was. I remember he was in was it Vibe, where he some magazine that said he was like the best MC in Iowa. They had like the best MCs by state or something like that. And so I always knew who he was. And
was it Vibe?
I think it was Vibe.
I think it was Vibe. Or,
I think he was in another one as well.
Source or Murder
He was
Dog,
in
maybe.
2 different ones.
Can't remember. Okay, yeah.
I know it was a big one. So it was either like Vibe or Source or one of them.
Shout out to Trip Shelton.
Definitely. And then we were working on Test One Solo EP, and we had a song called On Go, and man, Tessa's verse, first of all, he just shut shit down. And then he was like, "I think I'm gonna get Trip on it." I'm like, "If he'll get on it." Yeah, he turned his verse in. Goddamn. But I mean, but the thing is, Trip's like I've always been a fan of his music. He's amazing anyway, and then but Tessa's verse is like I know people might not believe
Tessa
that
can rap, dog.
he can definitely rap because one day I'm listening, I'm like, nah, Trip, nah, Tess, like it's they both just went so hard, just different styles, and that's another one of those records. If I had a top 5 records that I'm excited for people to hear, that's in my top 5, along with the Smooth G record, the first one we did.
Yes, sir. What about RJ Collier? And then we're gonna jump into some of your bigger fish, man. Your top 3 on there's kind of significant. So
yeah,
RJ Collier.
RJ is somebody. I met him through like the Gotti Horizon connection. Him and Gotti were doing a lot together. I always clicked with him instantly. I always thought he was just fucking phenomenal singer. I still do.
Absolutely.
I anything. I just wish he'd put out more music. So, cause man, people need to hear what he's doing.
I tell him that, man. He's starving his fan base.
And he's like, he does so much. He can play drums. He's a dope ass engineer. Like,
yeah,
he just does. He's like jack of all trades. When I first met him, though, it was through that same connection, Gotti and Horizon, and RJ was pretty cool. He used to come down to Marshalltown. One day he came down and dropped 3 hooks for me.
Nice.
So, and then him and Gotti had one of my favorite songs. It's called "Fundamentals of Pimpin'." They never gave me a copy of it. I don't know where. I've never seen it online or nothing. I still tell Gotti like I need that song. That shit is so dope. But yeah, shout out to RJ.
Moving on to the big dogs here.
Get him.
Where should we go first?
Shit, let's go to the biggest fish in the pond.
Let's talk about King Crook.
King Crook. Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
Man, we just networking, man. Just networking with people. Ray West made the play. He was kind of talking. What y'all think about Crook? Like, definitely, man. We saw an opening, man. Something that sounded like a good idea for all of us. We just took it, man. We had to come up with a banger for that. So, man, the guys came over here, picked out the beat. CP kind of did the hook over here while we was picking out the beats. So, and then they did their verses. We sent all the files and waited patiently for Crook to send it back. Which I understand, man. He's a big fish, man. So I understand.
Busy guy.
Busy guy. But like when he returned it, I'm like, I'm sure it's gonna be cool. You know, I wasn't expecting, you know, a great verse for what, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, I was wrong. Like he plays that motherfucker for us. Like he lists like, because sometimes you can just tell they just probably had a throwaway verse sitting there and they just wrote it. Like he heard what we were saying. He heard what we was in the hook. He heard everybody's verses and he's like quoting the hook and and just riding the beat and so that was like an honor that he actually. That's probably my production highlight right now.
How's it feel to have somebody of that caliber rapping over your beat and to know that it will be broadcasted to the planet?
It's amazing, man. It's just that's what we strive for, you know, as producers. We want, you know, the most talented and best people rapping over your beats. And I mean, as far as MCs, there's not someone I actually listen to and has, you know, a big following. You don't always get that. Sometimes you'll get like whoever's the top one or two rappers, but there might not be my cup of tea that I'm actually listening to. But of course, from a business standpoint, I'd want to do a record with them but if this is like Crook is the guy I want to do the record with because I listen to his music. So that turned out great.
Do you have any time frame in mind for a release date? When do you think people will be able to hear that collaboration?
It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be before the summer's over. To put it that way.
Tell us about DZ. Who's DZ and what have you done with DZ?
DZ is a Seattle artist. I was a fan of his because first song I heard was it had a Mac Dre hook on it. The suckers better run, hide, and duck. It was Trouble. It was called Trouble, but I think the DZ version was called something else. But DZ did all the verses. It's like this dude's dope.
Yeah.
It was over like a mob ass beat, and so then I just kind of started following his stuff, and I liked a lot of his collaboration albums, especially the one with Matt Black, the R&B one.
Shout out Matt Black.
Yeah, I love Matt Black. So I just I was a fan of his anyway, and then Ray made another play, say we could probably get DZ, so I was like, yeah. So we just did some finagling, what do you want to call it? And got DZ on a track called Smoke and Ride. I thought that was perfect track for him because it was laid back. CP came up with the hook right away.
That hook is infectious.
That's another one of my favorite ones. That one's been released. That's another one of my favorite ones though, that I would show people. Like, I like how everybody just did their thing on it. And then we did CP reached out to him. Well, he reached out to CP and said when we dropped CP's album.
Yeah.
And he said, well, next time, he said you would have been on my album or something like that, but I already had it done when he dropped that R&B album.
Yeah.
And so he reached out to CP, and then CP, and he's like, just let me know if you need something. And then I don't know, they got to talking, and then me and CP were talking like which song should we give him, because we have a stack of them that already got hooks on them.
Yep.
Just for y'all that don't know. So he's just going through my beats that he's already got hooks on, and so I was like, well, Cake and Ice Cream, because that one was just, I thought that was a hit. So he sent him that one. He liked that one. Then he's like, for X amount, whoop-de-whoop, I'll do two. So then he sent him this other one called Moment With You. So now we got two of those. And then Ray had another one he just did, the Plug's House, with DZ over one of my beats, which I love that one too. I think out of all the ones he's done, that's his most lyrical performance probably. It's probably my favorite performance of his, DZ's.
Plug's House drops June 18th.
Yeah, so talk about working with Marcel P. Black.
All right, Marcel P. Black. We did a track called Stay Unified. He's perfect person for this type of for this type of song. And the beat's a little different for me too. The beat is more of a, I don't say east. It's like a East Coast, more like break beat style beat. I don't normally fuck with break beats at all. And if I do, I chop them. This one I actually just left most of it as a loop, and then the breakdown part I did chop, which I'm sure nobody but us producer nerds care about anyway. But it was just different. It was a different record for me, and getting him on it was dope because it's one of those like I don't know about this one, and these guys all picked this record, so I was like, all right. But nah, he made it work. I love his verse on that shit too. Would definitely like to work with him more too in the future. Hopefully I get a chance to do that. So
let's talk a little bit about some of your influences. You know, you got DJ Quick, DJ Premier, DJ Battlecat, Prince. You know, tell us how that played into your influential upcoming.
Yeah, man. Quick's my number one guy. Like DJ Quick. Just always liked it. Like he could play any instrument. He produced himself. He mixed himself, and he rapped. Like my secret. Like anybody who raps and makes beats is usually I'm always putting up here, above someone who just does one or the other, just because I know how hard both of them are. So like Flea the Genius, like he does that. Like he's up here because that kid's talent is crazy. And Duke the Truth also, like those guys are just super talented that they could do both. So shout out to them. But yeah, that's Quick's just always his sound, his bass lines. He does talk box. I'm a big talk box fan. Just Quick, when Quick puts on a record, like I can usually hear it like that's Quick. Like unless he just goes so far out of the box, which he doesn't often do, but he just always has something in there. Like he's got this groove and this swing. It's like that's Quick.
Let me ask you this real quick. What do you say to the people that say that DJ Quick is actually the guy that we think Dr. Dre is?
I'd say they're 1,000% correct. Because that's exactly who he is. He's the guy that called to fix shit when they can't get it right.
Talking shit.
He's the guy that Dre calls and says, "Hey, I can't get these drums. This shit." Quick will come over, do it free, and doesn't even get credit. You know, he's the guy that does all that. So when you seen the little clips of him playing like in the club and all these records you didn't know he's part of, yeah, that's why. As Quick as that dude, like they said, he's the guy y'all think Dr. Dre is.
What about DJ Premier and Battlecat?
Premier, man, he's the same except for on the East Coast. Like you got to understand, he's kind of been the sound of New York for like maybe 30, 40 years. When like hip hop first, you know, when it was growing, when you thought of East Coast hip hop, you probably thought of like a Premier beat, somebody rapping over that shit. It was either that or Shook Ones, but it was usually probably like a Premier beat or something, 10 Crack Commandments or some shit like that. But he's consistent, and again, he's one of those dudes where you hear a beat, you're like, that's Primo, like you ain't, and that's, to me, that's the way it should be. I kind of miss that. Because now all of us producers want to sound like everybody, which business-wise it makes more sense because I could do a whole album and have every sound on there. But it was kind of dope in the days where like Eric Sermon, I always knew his production. Large Professor, I always knew his production. Pete Rock, I always knew his, and definitely knew Primo's whenever you heard that shit. And I heard him do like a Janet Jackson remix. That shit still sounded like Primo, but that shit was hard. Together Again. It's old, but if you ain't heard that shit, looked it up. The Primo remix. And then you say Battlecat. Battlecat to me is like, when I think West Coast hip hop, I think Quick and Battlecat, and Battlecat is just kind of that mob. It was more that the LA style of the mob, like the Bay Area mob music. But he just is clean. His bass lines, again, he does talk box. His shit just always knocked and slapped. Like the album he did, where he did a lot of WC's album, the Ghetto Heisman one. Mm-hmm. He did a lot of those tracks that are my favorite tracks on there. And then
the Barracuda.
Yeah, I love Dub C. But I shout out to Battlecat. Who'd you ask me out?
Prince.
Prince. And Prince, I grew up on, like, before I really knew what hip hop was, though, I knew Prince. Like, my mom used to play Prince in the house on the record, on vinyl. We had Purple Rain and I can't remember the one before that, the Red Corvette and all that. But I always liked his sounds, and he's another one like Quick where he does everything. Like, he wrote all the music, and he can play any instrument. He had that sound. Mostly Prince from the Purple Rain era and before, but some of the newer stuff's a little wilder for me. But I still I saw him live, man. He's a dope ass performer.
That's crazy dope. Where you see him at?
Hilton in Ames.
Nice.
Yeah, he's just his sound. Like, he just always had that sound. And again, it's something about those guys that do everything. Again, he's one of those dudes because it's just. I know it's different for me as a writer, just writing to somebody else's beat and writing to a beat that I made, because you hear different things because you heard it like when you were creating it. So it's just, I don't know, it's a different like synergy level or whatever, the chemistry between that. But I rapped over other people's beats before, but I just prefer my own, just because sometimes I feel like people don't get it. They can hear the beat, but I could let me rap because I can bring this out of what they're supposed to hear of it. But yeah, but that's why I liked Prince, because he did his own thing, had his own sound, and he did everything. And if you ask me, Prince and Michael Jackson, Prince all day. If we got to make this competition, but.
So can you weigh in on sample-based producers versus melody-based?
Yeah, I think there's really. And this will sound weird. When I first started listening to hip hop, it was like Soul Sonic Force and Houdini, and those guys weren't really using samples. They were using like a lot of synthesizers and stuff. And then it kind of got to the area where like Curtis Blow and all those type of guys were coming up. It kind of shifted a little more towards samples. They were still kind of using the synthesizers and the Curtis Mantronic style production and stuff. And then like as it came more to the stuff, because the funny thing is those are the records like my pops bought. Like he had Houdini Escape and Soul Sonic Force and those type of records. Like I didn't even know it was called rap at the time because it was so new. This is like in the 80s. So then when I think the thing that really got me into it was Crush Groove, like with Run DMC and them. And so that's when I kind of started listening to more of that stuff. And so then that's when I got more into listening to it. And I'm like, okay, they have like a lot of rock stuff. And like the Fat Boys had a lot of like synth and stuff. So it was cool. And then when it got more to like Rakim, KRS-One, Kane, G-Rap, that kind of got more sample. That's more when the sample stuff came into play with like Marley Marl and them guys doing production. And so that was the way. I mean, everything sounded Public Enemy, Bomb Squad, even Dre, a lot of his are either sampled or replayed for like NWA and Eazy-E and stuff when that was coming out. And so I always kind of liked both because also at that time hip hop was so small, so I feel like I knew all the artists. It was like there was like on the East Coast, it's like Public Enemy, EPMD, Queen Latifah, Kid and Play, LL, Run DMC, and like all the older guys. And then the West, it was like Hammer, Too Short, Sir Mix-a-Lot, So a lot of those guys had more of a synthesizer or just like melody style. They weren't doing like the James Brown samples that you were hearing in all the East Coast records from like 87 to 1990. But I think there's room for both. I think a lot of this shit is the younger kids, because I see this with the DJ community where the younger kids think scratching is whack or something. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, who are you? Like, I don't understand that. But I think the whole sample melody thing is the same way, because I see that a lot in chats and comments. Like they're saying, oh, he just samples all the time. I'm like, but that's part of hip hop.
Definitely is. What about you think the integration of AI into music?
Trash. My only things with AI, if you're using it for like a voice changer, like Beanie Siegel and DOC both said something about to the effect where they would write their shit and then have their original voice go over it. I'm all for it. They should do that. I'd love to hear another Beanie album. Definitely love to hear another DLC album with like their real voices. But like using it to make you a melody and make you drums but if you want to do it, do it. I personally think it's whack. If you want to do it, more power to you. I don't think you're a producer. And also, the thing is, for me, making the music is like my favorite part. It's like creating that melody that's like, oh shit, and then I just made this dope ass song from scratch.
What about the differences of being an artist versus being a producer?
Probably it's kind of what I mentioned before. It's just the prep. I think it's harder to write for me. Just to just sit down. I have to have space. I'm not one of those dudes that can write in like a party environment. Like when we had them niggas over here doing them 2 songs, I couldn't. I can't be around all that when I'm writing. I need to be by myself. And then it just takes a long time. It takes a longer time, and I feel like if I don't get it done, I feel like I just wasted time. For me, I know everybody else can write like this now, but I can't do that. And then, like I said, just sitting down with beats, I can pretty much just shut my mind off and just let my hands take me where they take me. Like it's just a lot easier. It's hard to explain with music, like with beats. It's just easier for me. I can hear a sound and be like, oh shit, I just heard like a whole melody just from a key press. So I'm like, all right. So it's a lot easier for me.
Let me ask you this, okay? Let's go back to Des Moines rap. You've been in Des Moines rap for a long time. You know, you've seen a lot of rappers come and go. Let's take it this format. Let's take it a basketball format. You're the head coach. You're the head coach. You need a starting 5 of MCs or singers, whoever you choose. You need a starting 5, and you need to win this championship. You're in the finals, 7 games. What 5 MCs from Des Moines are you gonna coach them up to get that motherfucking championship?
So I'm the coach / producer.
Yeah, there you go.
And this is my track. I'm the coach, producer, and then these are the artists that are gonna be on the like.
Don't put them up against anybody in Des Moines.
Shit, I'm gonna Tess is my center. Test 1's my center.
Test 1. I love it.
Let me see. No, I got to throw you on there. Big Ray West.
I love it.
It's the most consistent motherfucker here. Man, I'm not trying to make this a GFG thing, but I throw T-Bear on there. Man, he's super talented. I'm gonna throw. This is where it gets hard. I already know one of them. Well, I know 2 of them. There's one I want on there. Because I can't have 6. All right, I would put CP, of course, is on there.
CP.
And then, of course, the last one you already know, Smooth. But then this is where like I feel like Trip needs to be on here, and I feel like Flea needs to be on here. That's just like I don't know. You ask me tomorrow, I have a totally different answer. It'd be between those 7 people.
There you go.
I would definitely have CP. I'm gonna definitely have you. I'm gonna definitely have Tess. I'd probably say I definitely would have Smooth G, and then
it's hard, ain't it, bro?
Man, really, if I had Trip on there. Man, I don't like this question. Is it drink champs? Can I just take a shot?
I'm drinking.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, now give me a top 5 rappers of all time in the industry.
All time?
All time.
I mean, Rakim's my GOAT. So, Rakim, my current GOATs is going to be Royce, King Crooked, Locksmith, and then probably, man, don't kill me for this. It's between Slick Rick and G-Rap, Cool G-Rap, and probably Slick Rick, honestly, all time. And then honorable mentions would be I love Joyner Lucas and the shit he's doing. I love X-Rated. I love Brother Lynch, but
He just dropped a new single called Yeah.
yeah, I saw the AI video they did. Probably most of my guys are going to be older, like old like Kane or LL or something. But my five is solid. I like my five on that. I try not to even think about it anymore because it's like somewhat like you're saying all time. Like I love Pac and Biggie, but I like them more as art. Like you're saying MC, I'm thinking like bars, but you're saying like artists. Like I love Pac and Biggie and those guys, but I don't see them the same as I see Rakim. You know what I mean?
I hear you. What would you consider the greatest diss song of all time?
No Vaseline.
Oh, that's
It's not even
Same.
close. And one that doesn't get mentioned a lot is Common the Bitch in You.
Ice Cube.
And Cam Whoop Whoop.
Okay.
He dissed Ice Cube too.
How do you feel?
I was just gonna say because a lot of people can't get Ice Cube, and I feel like those two disses they got Ice Cube. Most people don't. When they diss him, he kills their career, and those two, I don't think he even responded back. So
He did an interview. He said the label maybe it was Farrakhan. He said somebody told him, somebody influenced him not to respond.
I remember that, but
yeah,
it's kind of convenient. I don't know.
Okay, what is your opinion on performers or rappers that rap over vocals at live shows?
I used to rap over vocals, and I mean, I know why I did it, and it's the same excuse everybody says. That usually you can't hear anyone, the sound sucks. I'll tell you a venue in particular, I used to watch them. The dude would push play and then go outside and smoke a cigarette. I know y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. But, and I remember one time, they couldn't even hear the people performing. The dude was outside, and Gotti knows how to work the mixer, so we went over there. And then the dude came in and was like, I don't touch my shit or whatever. It's like, Gotti's making your shit sound better because you just pushed the button and walked out. So I could see why people do that because it's just, you don't know what you're going to get with these sound systems, unfortunately, unless you're bringing your own sound in, and most of us ain't doing that. But I always told CPs, like, if we do it going forward, I'd rather just do it without the vocals because it does, when you get a good sound, it sounds so much better than just tripping over your, and then also, after watching people at like Coachella perform and they got the mic down and their vocals are going, and it's like, what? They're not even performing. They're like performing their ad libs only.
I was seeing a lot of that on the short form vertical media style.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't give me 15 seconds of promotional footage where you're not rapping your ass off.
It's your song.
It's your song.
I don't know it. Like rap that shit. They just do their ad
And
libs.
stop pointing the mic at me
Yeah.
and telling me to do it. I paid to see you, bitch. I'm not rapping it. I don't sound like you. You fucking do it.
So I don't know, like, but I don't ever know, like, maybe they just don't even have it memorized, or they just.
How could you not passionately know your own music that you're getting paid to perform?
This is a different generation, though.
It definitely is a different generation. I just feel that for me, music is emotion, and if there's no emotion in it, then I'm probably not too into it either.
And to go with that, a lot of those are like, they're too cool. They're trying to look like too cool to care about their own shit.
Yeah.
And I think that whole aesthetic of I'm too cool to care about this, and here I'm just gonna do a couple ad libs and you guys can sing my shit with all of these people out here in this cornfield or wherever the hell they're performing. It's crazy to me. So I know that watching that stuff made me like, yeah, we're gonna, if I have to perform again, we're not doing it over vocals. For singers or like melodic people, I can understand it a lot more. Like I think Frank Mank said that he kind of did whatever, and I understand because he has a super low voice and he harmonizes a lot. That would sound weird if he didn't have those backing tracks back there. So that makes sense for him to do it that way.
All right, man. We appreciate you sitting down with us and getting to know you a little bit, sharing a little bit of your history, your discography. Any links that you have, you could feel free to put out anything that you have coming out, upcoming soon too. Feel free to give a shout out.
We got a new CP album dropping in June. We got a couple singles dropping with Big Ray West, the Marcel P. Black single. I can't remember the date off the top of my head.
May 4th.
May 4th, my bad. And then we have, there's another one dropping. I can't remember the name of it. I'm terrible at this shit. We have another one called Friend Like Me that's dropping. Don't remember the date. It's dropping soon though. They posted date under here or some shit. I don't know.
And where can they find this?
On all DSPs. Everything we drop is gonna be on all platforms. So usually, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your songs or whatever you prefer to listen, we're on there.
Plug the Inception.
Exactly. Inception's out now on all DSPs. That's CP's album, his first little solo EP. We got the second one dropping in June. I can't remember. We kind of have a title, a working title, but we've already got the songs. He's just kind of mixing it up, and we're going over the artwork and title right now. So
nice. Anybody want to shout out?
Just shout out, man. All the Iowa artists that are out here grinding, man. I want to work with everybody I can work with. All the serious artists. You want to work with me? Hit me up. I'm pretty easy. Just send me a DM. Tell me what you're looking for. If you want a beat or you want to slide through and need a spot to record or whatever, just hit me up, man. I'm pretty easy to work with.
We appreciate you, Tremayne. Thank you for sitting down with us here at GFG.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man. Thanks.